the POIs. So we'll talk about market structure. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, sir. I can see your screen.
I said, can you guys see my screen?
Yes, sir. I can see your screen. I can see your screen.
Okay. Okay. So
Are you recording?
already feeling fine, but let's just see about this. Yes, so for the market structure aspects, um, out of all the zones, we have the invalidation X, the structure retest, etc., the breaker retest. So for higher time frame analysis, we use the breaker retest. Now take note, this is on market structure. Now I've taught you guys the trust strategy already. The POIs, that's all. Like you can literally use any market structure way to just add it to the strategy, but this is just the way I do mine. So for the higher time frames, I mostly use breaker retest to actually uh, analyze the markets. Like when I detect the trend, then I use breakup structures to find reversal points and entry points. So for example, time frame, let's say 4 hours, and we're in an uptrend. So now we have a breakup structure. When price breaks the structure, now if you guys traded SMC, you know that when price breaks structure or when a breaker retest is about to be formed, we had a other block that converted to a breaker block. So that's why we call it breaker block. So it's the same thing here. Is we call it breaker retest. So we have a breakup structure, and now we're now waiting for price to come here to retest for it to continue going up. So now we're on a higher time frame here, don't forget. So when price comes here or the higher time frame to retest that structure, then we now go to our medium time frame to now look for any of our setups, any of our POIs forms. So when it comes here, this is, let's just say this diagram I'm drawing is 4 hours time frame breaker and test. Then I'll scale down to 15 minutes. So on 15 minutes, I want to see price creates an invalidation or a new invalidation or something like that. So it should form a concept, a POI at that higher time frame break and retest, so we can trade off from. So as it's here, maybe let's say it was coming down, going up, going thereabouts, or the lower time frame, then we have a change of character. So probably we could react from the invalidation here, or some new invalidation here, thereabouts, or the lower time frame, and take your trade. Do you guys understand? You guys understand what I just explained now?
Please explain it again.
Please explain
So
to me. Yes.
you just literally wait. You find break and retest on higher time frame. And then when price comes to retest, you go to lower time frame to find POI. So you have to wait for the lower time frame to form structures, to form new entire structures that you can enter from. So you understand. This is a breaker retest of the higher time frame. Then when price comes here, let's say this is 4 hours, you can now go to your 15 minutes or 5 minutes. I'll wait for price to form a structure. Yeah, whether it's invalidation or new invalidation or structure retest or break and retest seal, then you know that you've gotten a good setup now to take entry based on a higher time frame break and retest. Do you guys understand?
Please, I will appreciate if you draw it as you're explaining, so I would understand the listening, just like you drew the first one. As you were re-explaining it now, you weren't drawing, so I didn't really understand what it means for listening.
Okay, I'll just explain this one last time. Again, I said on the higher time frame, we use breakout tests. So let me use a downtrend for example. Let's say on the 4 hours time frame, market is currently in a downtrend. We're doing all of this, and then we have a break of structure here. Just look for breakout retest on the higher time frame. Like that's all. So where price is literally coming to retest here, it could be a multi-candle breaker retest or a single candle breaker retest. I'll show you chart examples sooner. So where price retest this on the 4 hour time frame. So this is a 4 hours time frame breaker retest. Then we now scale down to 15 minutes or 5 minutes to now wait for an entry to form. We know our entry POI. So on the lower time frame, we can now wait for probably an invalidation to occur thereabouts. So probably you see something like this. We wait for an invalidation to come. So we'll enter here, or if it's a new invalidation or a breaker retest whatsoever to continue going down. Do you understand now? Do you guys understand?
Yeah, yes, but for the higher time frame, so for the higher time frame, is it 4 hours or 2 hours?
You can, your higher time frame should not be less than 1 hour. Anywhere higher than 1 hour, you can start analyzing maybe 4 hours or 2 hours, but your higher time frame should not go less than 1 hour.
Okay, okay, okay. Can write on.
So now for an example, let me show a chart example quickly. So mainly looking at this chart on the 2 hours time frame, we're in an uptrend. You can't look at this and say we're in a downtrend. So the trend is clear, and we look for breaker retest structures. So now see this one that happened last week. Let's look at this one. So you can see here we had a break. So forget all these things that formed here. As our trend price was coming to retest, we had a break, and the price was retesting it over here. If you look previously, we were still in an uptrend. So if you don't know direction, you can just you can just use trend line to just know the current trend, or just look at it. It's pretty much obvious. So this green box here, this was the break and retest. So let's say we just literally saw this on the chart now, and this is a 2 hours time frame. So now we now go to 5 minutes time frame. So now look for price. So price to form an entry. So let's see what we have here on 5 minutes time frame. So this is the point. So now when price touched here on the 5 minutes zone. So firstly, if I'm not mistaken, we have price was coming down all the way, and then we had this pullback, and then this pullback, and then price broke this and retested. So we had an invalidation here. So an invalidation structure here. A change of character where price touched the zone is broke structure. This is a body break. So it's broke structure and then came and retested the invalidation. So this you could have entered firstly on invalidation. So this is an invalidation here. So this could have been your first entry point, but let's say you still wanted more price action to form. You did not trust the invalidation. Okay, let's delete this. So now we now have a new invalidation here. And where price went further up more, at this point we have two zones. We have a break and retest, and we have a new invalidation. So this is a break and retest, and then this is a new invalidation. So at this point you have two zones, and you can literally try any of them or try both of them. So in this case, if you have tried the first one, it will work. So there are some cases where you have 3 to 4 zones and you will not know which one to pick. I think we'll still have one more class where we'll talk about confirmation entries. So how to use confirmation to enter when you don't know which exact zone to pick. So there's a very specific confirmation I use that you can also use, and you can also use it normally if you don't want to be getting sniper entries. It improves the win rates of your trades. So like I said, this is the first zone, which was the break and retest. The final one price reacted from. Instead of coming to the new invalidation, price reacted from here. So let's say you still somehow miss this one, but you know that is this break and retest zone is what's causing all of this reaction. So now we had this short-term downtrend, and when price came to this break and retest structure, it now still came and changed character and came all the way to the invalidation. So we have an invalidation over here. Again, you could have still entered here and thereabouts. So you now look for setups to form. This is what I mean by looking for setups to form when price touch your higher time frame break and retest structure. Do you guys understand? Does it make sense?
Sorry, sir, please, can you come again about the break structure replace in the 5 minutes?
I
I
I
still
have
don't
the recording. Don't worry. I'll send you recording
know.
so you
Okay,
guys
because
can rewatch this.
okay. Because that's 5 minutes. I don't really know how you draw that break and retest.
Break and
There's
retest is
no
normal when you have a break and retest. But let me go back there and show you. There's no special thing to break and retest
okay,
structure.
okay.
Let me find it.
But where do you look at? Is it the body or the candle wick? Where do
Yeah,
you usually look more? Is it the body
yes,
or the
sir.
candle wick during break and retest?
I look at the weeks, both of them. Sometimes from the weeks I start doing this thing, but sometimes price usually touches the body too, so there's nothing there. But mostly break and retest is from the weeks.
Okay.
So that's look at it here, it's from the week. So let me look for another example. I mean there was lots of examples uh on this last it happens every time. So see here, like one thing about break and retest, this break and retest is used to follow trend. So once a market is trending, you see break and retest levels. That's why it has high accuracy. So all the way from here, see this break and retest went up again, a break and retest again, though this one entered a bit inside, then tapped into a structure retest, then a break and retest, a break and nearly retested it because the trend is strong, and that's how it just kept going. So if sometimes you check that one on the 2 hours, let's say, okay, let's even look at the current chart now. Let's say I'm looking for a setup here. Now on the 2 hours time frame that I am now, there is nothing. This is the last like structure here. This is the last break and retest structure. So I'll literally be waiting for price to retest here before I start looking for any setup. And from what I'm saying, the price is super bullish. I may not really reach here, but if in the future, if price gets to this point, I can always start looking for a new place to buy because it's a break and retest. So now, for now, there's nothing on the 2 hours, only this point. So if I go to 1 hour time frame, so it's same thing is similar, but forget this zone here. If I zoom in closely, we can see that price is kind of forming many structures here, and yeah, this was a break and retest. So by 5 o'clock at 1 hour time frame. So let me go to 3 minutes time frame and see whether price formed any sort of entry for us to enter off of. So now you can see on the 3 minutes time frame. The reason I use 3 minutes is because this is 1 hour time frame break and retest. So now where price touched here the first time on the 3 minutes. So this was the first time it touched it. It reacted and broke through. No setup was formed. Now, the second time it touched it, it now went all the way here to change character. So you can see a change of character here. After a change of character, as usual, what do we have? The first zone is an invalidation, which is here. So we have an invalidation here. And we have another zone. Price did not come to the invalidation. So we have an invalidation X. Remember, this is the breakup structure. Or even if you're using body break, if you're using weak break, this will be the change of character, sorry, and this will be an invalidation X. If you're using body breaks, then this will be the change of character here, and this will be a new invalidation. Either ways, they're still both valid zone. And this was just the next zone after invalidation, which was here. So you can see that once you saw this, you could have now just waited for price to retest, and that's how you could have gotten a sniper entry. And your stop loss around here, something like that. So yeah, do you guys understand this now? Do you guys understand?
Yes, sir, but I think one more example, sir. One more example.
Okay, one more example. I'll show you guys an example of the trade I took today. So I'll just show you guys that one. That was a sell trade. Let me go to the charts that I think I sold that. So okay, so this was it. So this trade, I'm going to show you exactly how I call this sell trade in the morning. So now in the morning I was on the 1 hour time frame because there was nothing on the 4 hours and on the 2 hours. So on 1 hour, let me go back here. I was looking at something. Sorry, not even 1 hour. There was still nothing on the 1 hour time frame. It was still here. I was waiting for. So this time, I know I said we should not go lower than 1 hour for now that you're still learning. But me, I have like more experience. So it was kind of from 30 minutes. I looked for the setup. So now on 30 minutes, I had this happening over here. So I wanted price to break. So around this point, this was 8 o'clock when I started looking for setups. So if you shift all these parts out of the charts, you can see that there was a break here, and then this bearish candle was coming to retest. So if I'm not mistaken, this is what I'm talking about. So something like this. Um, this was a break, and it also broke this structure, and price was coming to retest. So I was looking for a buy. But now that is why we always have to go to the lower time frame to now look for confirmation. But if I now go to the 3 minutes time frame here when this thing was happening, so what can you see here? There was no setup. Like, assuming when price came to this buy zone I just marked here and it wants to buy, it would have created some kind of invalidation X or invalidation or break and retest, but nothing. It just broke it. So now, immediately after the break, now let's go back to 30 minutes. When it broke it, I knew that, okay, no buy structure is actually going to form. And now I'm waiting for a retest to sell. So now it now broke this new structure. So let me delete it. So we now had a break of this structure here. So now I was now waiting for a retest to sell. So let me mark it out to the line. So here, I was waiting for price to come here. So I'll sell. And as I predicted, price came here. And as usual, the first thing is to now go down to your lower time frame to look for a sell setup. So as you can see here, the first time it touched it, which was over here, it went up and then drastically came down slowly, not really forming any setup yet. We have not seen a good break to declare a setup. Then it now went back up again gradually. Then it now came down slowly. It broke here. So this was the first change of character. This was a change of character, and we have invalidation here. But before the change of character, we had invalidation X here. Yeah, we had some invalidation X here, which are the structures before the break of structures. So it was exactly at this point I entered this trade, not really at this top side. This top side was prediction from a gap zone. That's just advanced stuff, but the main place I was supposed to enter was here, invalidation X. That's this point here. And even if I somehow missed this, let's say I did not enter here, what do we have here? We had a break of this mini structure here and a retest. So I could have still entered here. And even if I still missed this, price broke down again and came up and retested it. So I could have still entered around here. And that's how all this happened. And I still even got a re-entry somewhere around here. Though this one did not really run to TP, it's reversed, but I still secured something out of it. So do you guys understand?
For now, this last one you just did is more confusing, but I believe if I keep on watching,
This thing is very easy. Like, this market structure is more easier than even spotting the zone. So don't worry, once you watch the recording and back test, you guys will get the hang of it. There's nothing hard. It's just you going to the higher time frame, you look for a break and retest structure. When price retest it on the higher time frame, you now it's just like now you see a buy break and retest structure, then instead of you cannot buy directly now. If you buy directly from that structure, number one, your SA will be wide. Number two, how do you know it's going to react off that break and retest? So you now go to the lower time frame. That is where you will now use all these POIs I taught you, the concept of invalidation, new invalidation, structure retest, and all of them. You now wait for those setups, those structures to form on that higher time frame break and retest. Then you now take your trade. It's as easy as that. This is so clear. You guys understand?
yes, sir. So, sorry, sir. Like, if we use 1 minute to spot our break, so what you're saying that we should use 3 minutes for our new validation works, or we should use 15 minutes.
You said I did not hear you.
I say you talked about if you use 1 hour to spot our break. Then if you use 1 hour to spot our break, Then we use 3 minutes to check our invalidation X and invalidation. Because I remember you said about if we use 2 hours or 4 hours to check our break, we should use 15 minutes for our structure.
Yeah, I think
Like
what he's trying to say, you need to give us like the time frames we look at, higher time frame to where do
yeah,
we go to in lower time frame, the time frames to look for higher than lower, any
yeah.
particular one. And
So you say, yeah, on the 1 hour, if it's on the 1 hour, you can look for the setups on 3 minutes. Yeah, it's okay. You can also look for it on 5 minutes. So it's fine. What was the other question? I not hear you.
that's for 1 hour. So if it's on 2 hours, where do you look? If it's on 4 hours, where do you look at? So as in on the lower time frame, where do you look at for entry? For 2 hours and 4 hours.
See, that's why I say
Then
most of these things is just something you backtest yourself and know which one works for you. But for me, four
okay.
hours is 15 minutes time frame mainly that I use. For 2 hours and 1 hour, there's no much difference. So you can use 3 minutes or 5 minutes. Just backtest and you'll figure out what works best for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.